All right, we're back. Judd'z Budz, episode motherfucker 120, aka the Ryan Suter ×5 episode. As always, your host Spoke Z, joined by my good buddy, Mr. At State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how are we doing?
Ryan Suter ×6.
What did I say? 5?
Yeah,
that was too jacked. I was too excited.
I do not blame you. It's incredible.
How you doing?
So much better now. I've been having a really rough day, and that salvaged all of it. We're 90% sure little guy has COVID, so that's fun.
Ooh, oh, that's welcome to the show, everybody.
He said that Ryan Suter being signed by the Blues makes up for it. So
cured. He's good now.
He's cured.
Let's get Suter's thoughts on. No, actually, no. Okay, we'll not. Well, shouldn't do that. Tell you what, I was feeling tired. Now I'm not. I feel away. I've never been more energized in my life.
That was also the intro working again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, not honestly. This would have been the only day no intro. I probably still would have been able to. I mean, I still did the math wrong, so I guess it didn't make up for that enough. But how the fuck are you? I am the other guy.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. Again, like that. If we could have that drop at the beginning of every episode, we would be buzzing so hard. It'd be so great.
Yeah. So we have now scrapped the plan. The original plan was to talk a little prospect news, little dev camp, and then go in depth on the draft that happened a couple weeks ago now. Winners, losers, a couple of my favorite picks, guys I was surprised to get drafted. We're scrapping all that. We're not talking. We are doing a 3-hour episode on Ryan Suter, who has just signed with the St. Louis Blues. He will now be on 3 different teams' fucking payrolls this upcoming season.
All in the Central Division.
He is going to get booed in 70% of his games that are in division. Every single home game, plus games in Minnesota and Dallas. It's going to be amazing. $2.25 million in potential performance bonuses. I need to know if they made those impossible to hit, or they just did what they usually do when they need to sign a guy for league minimum and then pack with. It's usually the most attainable fucking bonuses ever. Patrice Bergeron, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just using a recent reference. Bergeron's was 10 games and he made $1 million. It was and then there's 2 other ones where he hit by December. I need to know what the actual bonuses are because that is unbelievable.
I think they're attainable, but I don't think they're going to be gimme layups. It's if you play at least 70 games. Which I don't think
that's easy. I think he'll be fine.
But it's pretty easy for them to be oh yeah, we're just not gonna fucking play.
This would be a really good time. Let's see.
He has played for 4 Central Division teams, 3 of which are all paying him to play hockey this year. That makes me so happy.
I need to know. I am struggling so hard. So this would be a really good time for this would have been a good day for Cap Friendly to not go to. Maybe that's why the St. Louis Blues waited. They waited for Cap because I'm going through Puckpedia now.
They've been trying to announce this for a week.
They were just wait. They're the ones that actually, oh my God, estimated career earnings for Ryan Suter. It is out fucking outrageous.
I'm gonna say 140.
129 million fucking dollars.
I was barely high.
That's insane.
Oh shit.
Now, again, up until 3 or 4 years ago, I think the last solid year Ryan Suter's Ryan Suter close to being at his best was probably maybe the year before the COVID season. Even then it was still down, but I mean, he was still playing 27 minutes a night like putting up like 30, 40, 50 points. So I mean, like, again, we're talking about a guy who was at one point legitimately an elite defenseman that gave you 40, 50 points, played literally 30 minutes a night, went to the GM, was on a good first name basis with the owner, yelling about coaches, trying to get them fired. Bruce Boudreau somehow survived so long, mostly because he was playing him like 30 minutes a night, most likely. But like, he was legit. But the fact that this guy, his estimated career earnings are $130 million fucking dollars is legitimately insane. You know, you're gonna be able to buy in St. Louis for a house? That's crazy if he wants to do that.
Well, and that's before his next contract in Chicago. So
they're gonna give him another. They're gonna break the fucking rules. They're gonna give him a 10-year.
Oh, how crazy is it? I just heard this a bunch because everyone's talking, oh, is Crosby going to leave? And then Penguins had to immediately come in and shut that down, which I have very mixed feelings on. But he and Ovi are the only ones that finished out their quote unquote illegal contracts. Everyone else got bought out or retired.
That's crazy.
That's pretty wild. Not weird.
Not weird. Also, I guess not Minnesota Wild, but I am legitimately like, listen, all the respect of the world to what he's doing. Like, this is one of the more impressive accomplishments I've seen in the game of hockey, I think, in my whole life. Like, not in terms of anything hockey like related, but in terms of guys that play hockey doing things, this is one of the more impressive things that I've seen. Getting on 3 different fucking things. I am obsessed with this. It rules. So there you go. What's he making in total? I need to know now.
Well, because we've got right here from Urban, Suter is making what, 10 mil now this season? I'm not sure what's the actual dollars compared to what the cap hit is for the Wild, right? Like, I don't know how that maths out. I know they're giving him on, salary cap like 7 something, but I don't know what the actual dollars are for him this year.
Oh man, I really wish the cap friendly was up because I could actually. I'm gonna be better. I've used Puckpedia in the past. Their buyout calculator is actually way more fun to use. But I used to just buy out the most unbuyoutable contracts in the league, like on Puckpedia, and just like I think a week after Seth Jones signed that ticket in Chicago, I was like, let's see what this is all about. And I was like, oh my god, my computer broke. I think I got a new computer.
No, Dubois broke that calculator.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, dude, so they just showed how to win while losing. The St. Louis Blues masterclass, waiting until the day Cap Friendly goes offline to be like, oh, yeah, by the way, we just added Ryan Suter.
They absolutely waited for they just waited. It was probably signed the second that tweet went out. It's like RIP Cap Friendly, and they're like, all right, sign the deal. He's good. Or just publish, it's fine. God, I am legitimately obsessed with it.
How can we make this about the Leafs? Thank you, Flyer Voracek. Only wish he'd signed with the Leafs, so they would have signed Klingberg and Suter in back-to-back off seasons. That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, but let's be real.
Well, they did just sign Hakanpää. Hakanpää might never play hockey again.
Well, they signed Hakanpää, but they also signed Tanev, who got there. They're like, all right, we're gonna bring Suter in too. He's like, I fucking quit.
Yeah, I guess this is the first one that we've done since both the draft and because by the way, the fact that Game 7 happened, 48 hours later the draft happened, and then 48 hours after that, it wasn't actually 48 hours for the draft. I think it was 3 or 4 days, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days, and then their teams are like, flights are a disaster. We're doing it here, and the fucking for free agency, everyone was like, we have to fucking get a team room. Find a hotel where we can.
Why not do that every year, though? I love that. If you're at Vegas, why not set up shop every year? Let the players be out there. They can do the,
Actually, that's way funnier. That's a way funnier scenario in my head now that I think about it. How their tweets were going out sounds like flights are the flight. There were open seats on every plane, and they were like, we're just. Ooh, look at these
Vegas
plane
flu.
tickets.
Vegas flu.
Oh man.
And can you imagine though how that changes? Like you and I talked off air about some of the rumors about how Mikheyev ended up in Vancouver, but just think about like being in Vegas, talking to free agents, and them being like, I mean, what are you going to do to close the deal here?
They're like,
how are you going to woo me?
There you go. That's when you got to go Babcock. All right, just give me the phone. We can't have this anywhere.
Here's a good one from whoever. Is Suter the Kirk Cousins of the NHL in terms of getting the bag? One, Cousins has never been paid by multiple teams at once, so Suter's got him there. But two, I also think Kirk Cousins is like notedly better at what he does than Ryan Suter. But it is a very interesting comparison. I'll take it, especially since Minnesota fans hate both of them. So they're twins. Oh, that's awesome. And then we can spin from that, Z, into what we heard today on the latest Worst Seats in the House, Russo and LaPanta. I'm sorry, Tony Pants coming in hot, saying that basically there's not any gap between Minnesota, Winnipeg, and Nashville. After the offseason that Nashville has had, and Nashville already being better than the Wild coming into this season, there should be like concussion warnings or something. I hope Russo's okay for his flight, because I know he's like literally getting to MSP right now to take off for their trip. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just want someone to love me half as much. Not even. Like a quarter. I'll take a quarter. Or no. You know what? I want someone to believe in me like 25% of how hard how he believes in Minnesota. It's crazy. I mean, especially when it's actually no. He likes anyone that plays for the Wild who's at least 29 years old and older. Other than that, kick rocks, motherfuckers.
I'll be nice. I'll give him 28.
All right, fine. Fair enough. Yeah, whatever. That's you gotta have play-by-play guys gotta do that. Sure. Listen, it's those teams like Utah. I keep wanting to say Arizona. It's gonna take me a minute to get used to that. Also, by the way,
weirdly, you know what?
Smell you later.
What?
What's his face? Morello.
Oh, I mean, yeah, whatever. That I even overestimated how long he could stretch this out. What a sham! What an absolute con artist. Is it weird that I'm getting Utah and Seattle confused now? Like for some reason, because of like them just being kind of like that West that's not California. There were times where like I wanted to say that like Utah screwed up their offseason when like it's Seattle. And I just like keep on mixing them up in my head.
Yeah. No, that makes sense actually.
I don't know. Feels weird.
Color schemes as well.
Logo, I'll lean Seattle.
Yeah, it's a little bit fucking unbelievable.
But no, dude, like I currently, as all rosters sit, all things equal, all teams healthy, I got the Wild slated at number 6 in the Central next year.
I think it's going to be I'm trying to remember exactly how far apart the teams are spaced out by the playoffs this year. Because I do feel it's like, number one, I have no idea what to think of Colorado, realistically, by the way. Like, I don't know what to make of them.
Well, they don't even have a full roster.
Mm-hmm. So, and honestly, I don't know what to make of Winnipeg now. Dallas is Dallas.
I agree on Winnipeg with the coaching change, with like a couple little shuffles they've made. And do you think that Hellebuck can have back-to-back seasons like that? That's
right.
Kind of my biggest question. But I still, like, if gun to my head going into this season, I'm still picking Winnipeg over Minnesota as current rosters are constructed. But
right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, like, I don't think when you look at like
Dallas got worse. Dallas got worse.
Yeah, Dallas was weird. Dallas, like, that was a very odd strategy. And like, if you're Matt Duchene, you must be sitting like, motherfucker. Like, I took a massive haircut for no fucking reason. Like, what did he make last year? Was it like a even smaller 1-year deal last year that he took?
It was 3 last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what? Didn't he just sign like another? Was it 1 by 3.5 again?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Like, so then he's sitting there. He's like, all right, yeah. Now I'm like leaving some table to go make some other like splashes. And they bring in like Dumba on a 2-year, Labushkin.
No.
And they bring in
so the Dumba one is. I love Matt Dumba. No sense in that signing that they did. The dollars, just the fit in general. It is hilarious, objectively, though, that he's going in to replace Ryan Suter. Like, I love that. But I feel like this is a weird year because of like where the cap is at, how many teams are up against it. And it feels like there's a lot of players in flux within rosters, like either wanting out or the team's clearly not about them. I feel like there's going to be a lot more activity between now and September than we've seen in past years. Like, I think there's still more trades that are yet to come. Once all this settles out, now they know where the free agents have landed. And plus prize free agent sitting out there, Kalen Addison. That alone could fix any team. No, I'm sad. He might not land anywhere.
Right.
He is playing in the Beauty League starting tonight.
Hell yeah. I just saw Jesse Pierce is there. But like the thing with the Central, when I look at it's like, I think Utah got significantly better. And like
Chicago's better. They're still going to be the worst team in the division.
Right. And but other than that, like, you know, I do think, like, I think Wild, they're like middle to bottom of the pack. But at the same time, it's not like I don't, anytime they go to Dallas or go to Winnipeg, go to Colorado, I'm not just like, it's not one of those things where it's like, they're so far apart, I'm expecting them to get slaughtered.
No, yeah.
And again, I do like I'm split on the Trenton signing because I think he strengthens a major area of weakness, obviously. But it's the same thing. It's that 4 by whatever for like.
What do you mean? They haven't given anyone else a 4-year contract. That's never happened in the last 2
Yeah, but it's just like, all right, so now another one right in the middle of the lineup. But you know what? Whatever. I don't know. Like, I like the player. I like the fit. And again, addresses a major area of weakness. It's just like, man, like we talked about this a million times. Like the buyout years were going to be, especially the last 1 or 2, where it's huge. It's like the perfect time to start like getting prospects in there. See what you got with the young players, and like there are probably a couple guys that are ready to like take spots. Like immediately, just like either re-signing a bunch of the guys you already have to 4 years, right in the middle of that lineup, in slots that you really want to like get looks at guys, and even if they are ready, like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to beat him out, like it doesn't matter what his contract is. If you play better than him in theory,
hey,
you'll be lined up, I guess. But I don't know. Either way, I'm just split on it.
Like they're like, oh yeah, if Rossi outplays Hartman, Rossi's the 1C. If Hartman outplays Rossi, Hartman's 1C. Like, no, that's not how it works. They're gonna give Hartman every chance. That's just how it's been until they show me different. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And broken record. You guys have heard this a million times, but like none of these contracts really bother me. All of them together bother the absolute living shit out of me. And I hate it. But if you pick 1 or 2 of all those contracts, I'm not mad at all. And if I'm being honest, it sounded like I was hating on Hartman there, and I'm not. It's more my support of Rossi and giving him a chance to elevate off of what happened last year. I think Hartman is the one that I actually am the most comfortable with their contract. Like, I think that he has the lowest propensity for that contract to turn bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
my opinion. And ultimate cliche, but I feel it this year more than most. the Central's going to come down to health. Like,
yeah,
there isn't a bad roster. Like Chicago, definitely lower. I think St. Louis for me is currently probably the 7, but like they could easily, if they stay healthy, they could easily be in the mix. And all of these teams, one major injury, you're potentially going from like clear-cut playoff team to wild card bubble. If you're a wild card team with that injury, you're out of the playoffs. Like it is going to be a big arms race based on health. Yep. And like, no shit, always the case, but I can very clearly tell you my tiers if every team stays healthy, but any of them suffer 1 or 2, like even like mid-level injuries, changes everything because none of these teams really have the depth. I think up front, Winnipeg has really good depth, but their blue line scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So that's all to say. It could go any direction, but I'm currently penciling the Wild in as my number 6 team, and I hope they change my mind.
Yeah. I haven't sat down and really put much thought into it so far, but I obviously we will before the start of the season when we do that show. But transitioning closer into prospect talk, but keeping it somewhat like, well, now that I've butchered the transition, one guy that in theory should be vying for a roster spot that just might not fucking be there, a guy you just talked to with Joe Smith, Riley fucking Heidt. Everyone who has finally now talked to him or heard him talk, whether it's you in the podcast, Russo just like talking to him at the rink, or just like anyone that's really watched anytime he does like media or whatever, everyone says the same fucking thing where it's like, he's the right level of confident, like good cocky, but like he just sounds like he's already been playing in the NHL for like 5, 6, 7 years. And he's like, he's just awesome. And I mean, the year that he had obviously was insane. The Wild, from the second they made that pick, everyone said the same thing. That's an absolute steal. But then like, you just listen to him talk, the way he conducts himself, it's like, oh, that's an NHL guy. He's like, you just, doesn't matter where he ends up in your life. Like that guy is going to be in the NHL for a very long time as soon as he gets there.
Yeah. And, humble plug. Thank you, Z. But yeah, everyone go check out Fellowship of the Rink, subscribe, do the whole thing. He's an absolute beauty. And we also did the rest of the episode live from the Barrel Theory Tap Room with Tim Johnson, owner, awesome guy, big Wild fan. I'm drinking some of his beer right now. Voice in the Night. Delicious. They've got my go-to beer there, Shooter McGavin. They have like a triple dry hop version of it on tap right now. Just had it. Kind of blew my mind a little bit. But go check out that episode, please. We appreciate you guys. But no, I am on the verge of Riley Heidt basically being like my favorite prospect / player on this team. I am so locked in. And we actually earlier, or not today, this is Wednesday, yesterday, Joe and I sat down with Liam Ogren. Sorry, he confirmed it's Ogren. So we say Liam Ogren moving forward. Super like chill dude. Like he's kind of the same vibe as Riley Heidt, except I don't know. Riley Height's kind of got that like Stahl family, like I'm coming from the farm kind of vibe of like, yeah, dude, like I'm just here, I'm doing my thing, just like get the hell out of my way. Whereas like Ogren, it's a little bit more like calculated how he talks, but dude has all the confidence in the world. He talked to us about his how he maintains the wonderful hair as well. So the guy's at least willing to talk. So like that there's like guys like that clam up when you ask him like the weird questions like that. And he's like, oh yeah, here we go. Here's my plan.
He's like, I have been wanting to talk about this for years and no one's asked me one time. It didn't come up at the combine. It didn't come up anywhere. Finally, let's talk about this.
You'll love this, Z, and this is a teaser for you guys because it'll probably be a couple of weeks before that interview drops. Dude, I brought up the James Neal bit. Remember from like the old NHL 36 shit, where like they talked to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I only wash my hair once every 2 weeks because shampoo gets rid of the oils and it's how you lose your hair. So I'm gonna keep it forever." By the way, he's still being paid by the Edmonton Oilers, which is hilarious. But Ogren had never heard of that. He's like, yeah, I don't know about that shit. I watch it like a couple times a week.
He's like, do you have Neil's number? I need to give him a call. This is very important to me. That doesn't surprise me about Ogren too when you talk about him. I mean, he's been around NHL guys or ex-NHL guys or guys in the SHL in Sweden forever that's where his dad works with all those guys over there. So he's been around pro hockey players forever. So he already talks like one too. But like you said, it's a little bit different than Riley Heidt.
Do you think there's a world where both of them can be on the big squad starting the year? It's one.
Now, I would imagine Riley Heidt, I think, will push hard to make it out of camp. Liam Ogren's probably going to be a guy where he's good enough, probably could make the team out of camp. I'd imagine you're going to see him. They're not going to want to put him on the fourth line. They're not going to want to do that.
He can play
even Riley Heidt. Well, even when I look at the fucking roster spots that are open, it's like who's Janov penciled in like 4C?
Agree or disagree? There is one spot open in the top 6, or is that JoJo?
I mean, you heard every media availability. What it keeps coming back to is their planning or their approach has been pushing, and especially when like John Hines is talking about like doing player check-ins constantly throughout the summer, it's banking on pretty much 70% of the fucking roster having bounce back seasons. Because I mean, like, obviously guys like Johansson, not the players that they were before, but I don't think they're that bad. Like, there's obviously going to be improvement because it's going to be tough to be worse than they were last year, some of those guys. But they're really banking hard on some big time bounce back seasons, which, I mean, part of that was, the salary cap that they've now put themselves in. But that's when you look at like their offseason move. They bring in one big guy in Trenton. Other than that, 2-way contracts, bring in Lauko in that trade. It's going to be a pretty similar fucking hockey team. And there's not a whole lot of openings. I mean, like, guys are going to get games. And I'll be curious to see, because I think Riley Heidt's going to give them a ton to think about and trying to, like, fit him in. And at some point, they have to, like, what? Are we really going to, like, just pencil JoJo in that top 6 because he's his age, he's been around that long? It's like, well, he's got one contract here, 1 year, $2 million. You can't, like, be like, you know what? Like, what? If Riley Heidt's pushing and, like, deserves a spot, like, it's gonna be hard to not give him a look there. But
I need one of them to be given a chance in the top 6, either one. Yeah. And I think Ogren's more ready, but like, dude, if Heidt comes in and just knocks your socks off, you can't send that kid back. He's not gonna develop in the WHL. He can't do any more than he did last year. That it's not helpful for his development. Now, if he is clearly not ready, or like he's on the fence for NHL time, then yeah, I guess you got to send him back. What can you do?
Right.
But otherwise, I don't know. It'd be really difficult.
There is one part of, in like listening to Russo talk about it more and more, and like the one thing I'm oddly more concerned, I'm like, I go back and forth on it, is it sounds like they're going to be like carrying 3 goalies a lot of the year. And like Wallstedt's going to just like be hanging out. I would much rather have him be in the AHL playing all of those games. Like,
it's going to be fun. We're going to have to like find one episode this summer where literally the entire episode is us pulling up Iowa's calendar, Minnesota's calendar, and figuring out where does Iowa have a shit ton of games and where does Minnesota not have a ton, or like it's big travel or whatever, and be like, okay, great. This is where he's going to be down in Iowa. He's going to crank out a bunch of games and he's going to come up and like, oh, here's 3 games in 4 days. Great. We'll play all 3 goalies over that stretch. Like, yeah, like I think I hope it will be strategic, but who knows?
And I mean, at the same time too, like, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility, because apparently, again, just what we've heard, like, they're still shopping Gustafsson. Like, they're still like taking they're still that's out there. So like it's not totally out of the realm of possibility. Wait. We've seen this kind of stuff happen before where it's like a month or two of the season, someone pulls the trigger on it. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility. So like that's when it's like, okay, we're carrying Wallstedt for like this could still happen early on in the season. I mean, and then he's there with Fleury. It's still scary to me, but like whatever.
If Boston can't come to terms with Swayman, he's a good option.
Yeah, there you go. It does. There you go.
I'm sorry.
Stanley Cup.
I had
the cup. March on the cup.
The one other guy that I feel like we have to talk about quick from the prospect perspective, saying all the right things, and I mean, whether it's how he feels or it's that he's well coached, doesn't matter. Charlie Stramel.
Yep.
What do we need to see this year in Michigan State? Like, obviously, we need to see him take a step and be a different player, but like, how do you measure whether or not he properly took that step? Is it playing in the top 6? Is it playing meaningful minutes? Is it a certain amount of points? Is it power play, penalty kill? Like, what is it that's going to say, okay, Charlie Stramel did what he needed to this year. We like the progress.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's just like he needs to look like Charlie Stramel again. And what that means with Michigan State is like, yeah, you want to see him, if it's not top 6, at least like third line, but playing a meaningful role, both ends of the ice, power play, PK, like, because again, like he projects to be a middle to bottom 6, no shit center. You know, whatever, winning faceoffs, but like a guy you throw over the boards late in close games. When you need a big play, you throw him over the boards. Like he needs to be a go-to guy at Michigan State. And like the points are one thing. I don't think Charlie Stramel is ever going to be a guy that you're going to lean on hard for points like in the NHL either. So that's one thing I'm not like overly concerned. But I mean, like I think last year it was again less than 10 or right around 10 points. The year before that obviously was kind of a throwaway year. But like it's kind of hard. Like when I look at him too, usually it's pretty difficult to just say like 2 bad years in a row to be like, oh, well, it wasn't totally like it. He actually might have a bit of an argument to like still give him like grace. I would say this is the year though that you actually do need to see that next step where he just has to look like the guy that they drafted. And again, like I don't think what he does well, like I don't think a guy like Charlie Stramel just like loses that. Like I just don't think he turns into a shell of himself overnight. And Michigan State is a very different hockey team. He's got rapport with the coach from like junior, like knows him well, and clearly he was a guy that like he's keen on. So at this end of the day, though, we're gonna have to wait and see. It's like you can't really just like blindly assume one way or the other. But that's what I mean.
Judd said it when he came on with Joe Smith and I. Like they didn't draft Charlie Stramel thinking that he was going to be playing in 2 years. Like there are a lot of guys that can take upwards of 5 years to get to where you want them to be based on their draft pedigree. And like, I'll throw this in because like, I understand the criticism from fans, like, especially when you see a lot of people out there that were bashing the pick, like even like media people, like I know he's listening. So Alex Micheletti, you know that I'm going to throw this at you pretty regularly, but Micheletti has been very vocal that he is upset about this pick because he wanted Gabe Perreault. We're going to find out this year what Gabe Perreault can do without Will Smith. I'm sure he'll still be an effective player, but there were very valid reasons to be worried about him. Z, you've talked about the skating. We don't have to go into Gabe Perreault, but Lethal Migraine is chiming in saying Stramel will never be in the NHL, and he hasn't been good since he was 14. You and I talked about this, I think, a couple months ago, but talk about the beginning of that whole process, like the summer of 2022, when we're looking forward to the 2023 draft. You kind of had him as a guy that had potential to be like somewhere between 10 and 20. And then he just kind of didn't have the best showing that year.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to throw criticism about how good he was when he was younger, like the one thing that like happens a lot with some of these prospects is they just happen to be bigger and stronger than literally everybody they play against. Mm-hmm. That's been the case for him forever. But I mean, also, it's not true that he hasn't been good season. Like you don't magically make 3 fucking World Juniors teams before you get drafted. If you're not good, but yeah, I mean, he had obviously again, like the size, the skating ability, like the skill that he legitimately does have for a guy his size, and the fact that he can play a really good two-way game, that was obviously a big part of his pedigree. But like when he was younger too, you saw a lot of flashes of like no shit legit offense. So I mean, yeah, his draft year going into that season, like he was projected to be anywhere from like 12 to 20. That's just the fact. That's the way it is. Well, his draft year didn't go well. He went to Wisconsin and like probably the worst possible in the worst possible environment he could have been playing in. And you know, at the end of the day, well, we're here either way. But
went from dog shit team with like zero hope as a true freshman, which is tough. Then in comes Mike Hastings, who hates anyone that's not at least 25 years old. If you can be on your parents' insurance, Mike Hastings wants nothing to do with you. So he was screwed there. But it's also, I think, a misconception from a lot of fans, and understandably so, especially when you look at like other sports. But they think that because you are a first-round pick, no matter what number in that draft year, that means you need to be like an elite first or second line type player, whereas Charlie Stramel was never slated to be that. He was a no shit bottom six center in the NHL. We don't think that he can climb above that, but you don't necessarily need that either. And a little bit higher upside, I guess, but like Joel Eric's next, not much different. Look how long it took for him to come on, and now every Wild fan would be livid if we didn't sign him to that contract that everyone was so upset about a couple of years ago. Like, players develop at different paces, especially given their skill set and where they fit in the lineup. He does not need to be a first or second line center for this to be a good draft pick.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, again, I'm going to believe in the player. And if this year goes wrong or doesn't go well, then it is what it is. You take the loss. But I still believe in the player. He's still super young, too. I don't even think he's 20 yet. So we'll see. But big year. I would expect him to take a major step forward. Again, whether he's producing points or not really overly concerned. But he's got to be a meaningful part of that lineup. Got to be one of their go-to guys. So we'll see how it goes.
No, that is fair. Anyone else you wanted to hit on as far as dev camp is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, not surprised, but again, I really wish they were streaming these. It's annoying that they're not, but
they were. They said they were on YouTube. I thought maybe not.
It might it might be like the last day that they do that when they do like the short or the whatever small sided games. But Hunter Haight once again, just everyone that's been there that's watched has been extremely impressed with him. Again, like he lit it up at his first dev camp too. And again, another big year for him. We'll see. I mean, he's going to be playing in Iowa this season. It's going to be an interesting lineup down there again. But like a couple or like one big one, not necessarily dev camp related, but Rasmus Kumpalainen leaving the OHL, going back to Finland to play for Pelicans, his hometown team. Interesting. But I like these people playing pro hockey. I'm surprised they didn't want to go back. He was a huge part of that team. They were not happy that he left. He was a big part of their plans for sure, especially with Beckett Sedicki coming back this year and like ideally picking up where he left off before he got hurt. He was obviously a big part of their plans. I'm sure they were pretty surprised that he decided to go back. But I mean, his childhood dream was to play for his hometown team. He's going over there to be playing pro in Finland. So I don't really necessarily look at that as a bad thing at all. I think it's going to be really good for his development, actually, just because the OHL is a lot different than it used to be. I'm much more of a proponent of the WHL now, but it is what it is. But it's cool that
don't say that. Don't say that.
Well, we had like,
we haven't talked about it yet, though. We just got to slip this in since we're talking about the CHL. Can you remind me, where did Aaron Kiviharu just get drafted?
I think it was Shiku. No.
What league?
Moncton. Yeah, no, it's Q. So did Sawini. I'm going to be curious to see if either one of them go. But realistically, after not having anyone in Finland last year, the Wild potentially will have 3 prospects playing in Liga. Sawini played a lot this year in the Mesties and their AHL. Sure. He'll probably be playing in Liga this year with Ilves, where Simon Johansson used to be playing. before he came over to Iowa, and they didn't sign him. But then you got Kiviharju with HIFK. They apparently have told him that they're planning on having him in their top 4 defense. And now you've got Kumpalainen going over to play for Pelicans. So potentially at this point, I would assume that both Suwinni and Kiviharju go back to Finland instead of playing in the queue. But
please God,
I'm just excited to have a little shakeup and more. Like I was either watching CHL or like KHL, and then Ogren got healthy again.
And NCAA.
One guy in Sweden. Yeah, that was pretty much it last year. So it's going to be fun to.
How many Denver games are you going to watch this year?
I already watched a ton before, so it's going to be hard to beat that.
Now we got 2. You're going to watch every weekend. We're going to have to make a side podcast, just like the Pio pod.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh, I love it. And Flyer Voracek, maybe you're right. I don't know. He thinks I might be thinking of the Prospect Showcase tournament later in the offseason. It could be right. I thought I heard something, but I'm probably wrong. Okay. Anyone else you got? Or are we turning the page?
Yeah, no, I think that was it.
Okay. So I think then that means you just wanted to get right into draft grades, yeah? Broadly.
Yeah, I think once again, it's just grading every
not
team.
Not grades, but like it's more like
no, it's just every team. I'm like, I was good to see that. Yeah, I have some winners, some losers, and then I did 2 other categories. I was like, I like their draft, but not enough to put them in the winner category. And then there's a couple where I was like, I don't like their draft, but not enough to like put them in the loser category.
John, do your draft, favorite picks. And do you know who my dad is draft?
Yeah, no, that automatic win. But yeah, I don't know if we want to just go right into it. That's fine.
Yeah, and real quick, I don't know if there's anyone that stands out, and I'm catching you on the spot, so we can pass from this if you want. Who were like past the 4th round, even going rounds 5 through 7? Who were a couple of the names that you were most like, holy shit, he fell this far? Wow, I can't believe this team got him.
Yeah, that's what I have at the bottom.
Then let's go.
We'll get there.
Let's go.
So first team on my winner list, I absolutely loved what the Anaheim Ducks did at this draft. Again, Beckett Seneke, like they gave everyone, first of all, the fact that they immediately started off the draft with like a holy shit pick. The Beckett Seneke at 3rd overall, again, like very high.
He said holy shit. He said holy shit.
He goes, holy fuck. Oh my fucking God.
It's funny because like you'd think he'd at least have some idea though, right? Like is the team not talking to him more? By the way, last tidbit I'll give listeners on the Ogren interview. He had no fucking clue Minnesota was taking him. He's like, yeah, I didn't talk to them all that much.
Mm-hmm. I love that when they're like, oh shit. There's like some guys that talk to like 25 teams and then just like one of the team they didn't talk to is where they go. Like, oh shit. All right. I don't even know who the fuck, like, where is that team?
The only place we haven't checked out apartments. God damn it.
I know. But yes, Seneke, again, 3rd overall, maybe a bit rich, but I mean, even if he had like 10 or 15 more games where he was as good as he was the second half and then the playoffs until he got hurt, like if he had a full season of just playing the way they played, he would have been a no shit top 5 pick for pretty much every team in the league. Again, the size, the skill, the skating, and the fact that he has that layer of just like physicality, how mean he is. You totally understand the projection. But then they followed up with Stian Solberg, the Norwegian defenseman at 23rd overall.
Yeah.
A very different element to their decor, but he screams legit like NHL defenseman already. We've seen him play pro, and we didn't really know how to gauge that league. So then we watched him the World Championships, and he's legitimately shutting down like big time NHL players when he's playing teams like USA. So I do love that pick. He's one of the hardest hitters in the draft too. Again, like the way he plays just screams NHL. I don't think it'll take that long for him to eventually make his way into that lineup. So I like that pick at 23rd overall. Like I saw some people were projecting him like way earlier. So I thought 23rd was just the sweet spot.
To the Wild.
Right. So I love that pick. Lucas Pettersson, 35th, the Swedish center. Again, another one of my sons. There was an early run on Sways in the second round. I do love that. No, it wasn't actually a draft sum, but just one of my sweets.
No, but you had him ranked 29, I think, on your big board.
Yeah, late first. Again, that probably would have been like that was probably me a little bit, but I mean 35, that feels like a good spot. Another really speedy, solid two-way center with legit offensive upside. I think he probably projects more into your middle six, but he's going to give you some secondary scoring potentially at the NHL level. And again, while playing that really reliable two-way game. Maxime Massé at 66th overall, sniper, speed. Again, another guy that was projected to go like top 15 last summer. And again, just didn't necessarily have a bad year. The Q. There's a lot of guys obviously past him. But I like that pick at 66 a lot. And then they get guys, all-name team, Ethan Precision at 68th. He just is a lunatic on the ice. Very fun player. Terrence Smith at 79th. Really nice work. And Daryl Sujetski's at 214 overall is phenomenal. Like, I would have had him probably projected more 4th, 5th round. Big shutdown defenseman, can move. He's got a booming shot. I really like that pick. So Anaheim Ducks were my first winner off the board.
What a name.
I just love that they added value everywhere in their lineup. Like, I really like their draft.
Fair. Okay, then who's number 2 then for your favorite drafts?
Yeah, and I should clarify, not ranking them. This is just as I was going through
the ones you like.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Sadly, it makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit, but the Montreal Canadiens, they could have done nothing outside the first round, and they would have made this list.
I knew I was going to hurt you to say that.
I have Demidov 5th overall. Potentially highest upside in this draft. Michael Hayes at 21, a guy that I would have had projected closer to 15, anywhere from like 13, 14, 15. Another really solid two-way center, but the skill is insane. Good size, two-way. Like, he is just awesome.
And
the trajectory right now is through the roof. I really liked the Tyler Thorpe pick at 130. Owen Potts at 102. I thought was interesting. What?
You're going to skip the Pander pick?
No, I'll get there. And then Rasmus Bergqvist, 224. Flashes of legit upside, like him. And Atos Koivu. Awesome. It was funny. My buddy at Smart Scouting is a Montreal Canadiens fan. He goes, of fucking course they picked him. And the next tweet on the timeline was me going, Koivu to Montreal, fuck yeah. I was like, that's hilarious. He's pissed about it. But again, he's got some legit flashes of like NHL upside. But again, they could have done nothing outside those first 2 picks in the first round. And I would have already penciled them in as the winners.
It was a better 3rd round pick than the Wild had. So
yeah, fair. Well played. Fair enough. Can't argue with that. Montreal Canadiens, they make the list. Next up, I almost moved them to I like their draft, but not enough to put them in the winners. But at the end of the day, I decided that I actually did just really, really like their draft. Again, like, especially with their first one, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Caden Lindstrom, 4th overall, is incredible.
Can we pause?
Yes.
How were they considering trading that pick to Chicago for next year's unprotected pick? How could that make any goddamn sense in the world?
I don't know. Yeah, they made the right choice. But I mean, Lindstrom at 4th overall, absolute no-brainer. He's like 6'4", 6'5". The speed, the skill, the shot, legit vision, like, and he's just entering that like peak trajectory where like he's only going to get better. And like, he was already, before he got hurt this year, he was torching the WHL. And again, at that size, when you move that well and you're that much of like a dual threat in terms of like scoring goals or just like natural playmaking yourself, he is also kind of like exactly what they needed. I think he is going to be a center at the NHL level, potential to be a number one, a true number one. And you look at the talent that's surrounding him, like coming up with how well they've drafted the past 3, 4, 5 years. He is a lot of options to pass the puck to and play with guys that can also dish. So I love the pick at 4th overall. Charlie Ellick at 36th overall. I really like that pick. I was flirting with putting him in my, like, the end of the first. This is a big right shot defenseman. He is mean. Defensively, excellent. And again, like he's tough. He hits everything that moves. And when he hits, he hits hard. But his transition game is also solid. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's necessarily going to put up 1 million points in the NHL. But I think he's got good second pair potential. Again, like legit shutdown guy, moves really well, transitions well enough. I like that pick at 36. And then Evan Gardner at 60. I really like that too. Luca Morelli at 86th. Like that a lot. So again, I think the smallest guy they took was the goalie, Evan Gardner at 60, 6'1". So they were able to target big guys with like legit skill sets that move really well. And again, when you just look at the work they've done the past couple of years, they've already got such a solid foundation of prospects that will be coming up soon here. I love every player that they added to the mix. So big fan of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Caden Lindstrom, 4th overall. My God, I love that pick. He rules. So they made my winner list.
There you go.
I'm going to skip going over the players because we're going to talk about them. But Minnesota Wild obviously made my winners list. We're going to be talking about the Wild. So next up, San Jose Sharks. It's hard to get the first overall pick and then not come out of the draft as a winner. Like, it's pretty impressive if you could do that, honestly.
Wow, what they did.
Yeah, so they go out. Macklin Celebrini, 1st overall. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Sam Dickinson at 11th overall. I am shocked that he went outside the top 10. Like I was getting made fun of on the live stream, by the way, when I said that there were going to be a ton of defensemen going early. The second I got made fun of, I think there were 5 defensemen picked in a row. But Sam Dickinson at 11th overall, again, I had him closer to I thought Ottawa would take him because he kind of does like a similar mold, maybe not as upside like offensively as much as like a Sanderson, but like similar profile player. They obviously went with the Yakimchuk route, which is the trend that they followed the rest of the draft. But Sam Dickinson 11, I love that pick.
Funny because like a lot of Ottawa Senators fans were mad about the reach, but like Yakimchuk just like sounds like vomit. That's fun.
That's a big win right there.
You had Dickinson going top 5 or 6, and
yeah, I think most of the year,
kind of flirted with it, right? Like those two were kind of the guys that are like right in the same range. It's like, which one do you like more?
Yeah, and I mean, coming in too, it was like there were 6 big time defensemen coming off, or like that was going to be going early, and I think everyone was quite shocked that like Zeev Buium was the 6th taken of all those guys. And also very shocked that Sam Dickinson was the 5th one off the board of that list.
Did you hear the way it was explained though? So essentially, like hearing from like Pronman and Wheeler and them, it was like Zeev Buium was no one's number 6 out of those top 6, right. But he was no one's like number 1 or 2 either. And it's like, it just fell the right way that each team landed on a guy they were higher on than him, and he pushed out. And we're not mad about it.
Yeah. But either way, Sam Dickinson at 11, like I would like as much as I had him going probably 5, 6, 7, it's still like somewhat like they would still kind of scare me. Like I think he's got a super high floor. There are definitely going to be question marks with the actual ceiling. A lot of those points that he put up this year, again, I am not going to try to shit on a guy who put up like 70 points as a defenseman. I'm not going to fucking do that. Like it's insane. The London Knights are fucking unbelievable. A lot of that stuff came on the power play. And I don't really see him as like a first power play guy. Maybe second. Either way, I think he's going to be a number 3 or number 4 defenseman for a long time in the NHL. You're probably realistically never going to complain that this guy's in your lineup, and he's a legit defender. So I like him a lot. So I love him at 11th overall.
Do you think that he made more money with London than he will on his ELC?
It's a good question. You have to ask the questions. I'm going to say yes. Another one of my favorite, and this he will make the list at the end of this. Some of my favorite picks: Igor Chernyshov at 33. I think he was. So there were probably 4 or 5 guys that, like, collectively, anyone that's been following the draft, especially, I mean, even just this one, Shocked that Chernyshov was not taken in the first round. Again, like he's played some KHL games, but again, probably not going to be a center, I don't think, but he's played there before. But like the playmaking, the two-way game, the physicality, he is a legit top 6 upside guy that has insane skill. He's awesome. And like true power forward. I like him a ton, but go ahead.
Do you like him more or less than Artemonov? Because I know he's a guy, like originally when we did the Russia top 10 list, you put Artemonov 2 over Salayev and people were shitting their pants.
Yeah. I would put Artemonov and Chernyshov really. I think I probably would have on my own list put them either right next to each other or within 2 or 3.
Fair enough.
I think there's flashes of like higher upside with Chernyshov, but I think I probably believe in Artemonov's just like he played in the KHL on one of the best teams in the KHL and put up like 40 points, like 30 or 40 points. Like that is insane. It is like no one does that. Yeah. So I probably, but like when you look at the profile player,
that sounded weird, but basically what you're saying is when you're that young, you do not get that much runway on a good KHL team.
Right. I mean, you just don't play. And then like he's on the same team as Salayev, so there you go. Right. Maybe they're like and Flat first off. Shout out Flat first off. But yeah, anyways, Chernyshov at 33, that's tremendous. Leo Sully-Mullanius at 53, love that pick. All name team guy, obviously. The triple namers. Really interesting players, or really interesting player for me. I see like a middle 6 guy. Again, gives you a little bit of value at both ends of the ice. He flashes some high offensive upside too. Carson Butch, similar. And actually Colton Roberts at 131. So I think again they add value at pretty much everywhere in the lineup. But like the value in like Chernyshov at 33, Dickinson at 11, and Wallanius at 53. I like that a lot. So they obviously were going to be and you get Celebrini. Like he fell to 1. You know, he fell to first overall. I can't believe it. So they made my list.
Good. So are we doing just 5 or how many are in your list?
I have one more.
I'm getting nervous. The one that I thought you were for sure going to pick might not be picked.
I know who you're saying, I think, and they made my this close to being one.
Oh man.
Maybe we're thinking about different people. Last one of the true winner list, Calgary Flames.
Reasonable. I don't disagree with it, but you did not pick the one that I thought you were going to pick. That's on me.
So Zane Parekh, we've talked about him plenty. I mean, he shattered pretty much every OHL record in terms of offensive production. People I think are more concerned about the defense than they should be. I think he's going to be at least able to like make himself a useful defender that will have all of that offensive upside in the world. Any team that needs like a boost on their power play, especially, like he is going to be your guy. But I think again, like he's strong. He's not like small. I think he's 6 foot, 6'1", solid skater. But the playmaking and just like the flashes of legit, just like ridiculous offense, and the skill is the way you can manipulate defense too. Like doesn't matter. So transition offense, in zone, he is top notch. Again, yes, the defense is always going to be a concern, but I think that got like way overblown. Matt Bay-Gridden at 28 may have been a little bit of reach, but I love the player.
I'm reviewing all of their picks, and I'm like, holy shit, there's so many names on here that I know you liked that like this should have been the first team you mentioned.
Yeah, so here's the thing with the Calgary Flames. It wasn't even necessarily the guy, like where they found value and like the upside in the guys that they found outside the first round is just crazy. But Matt Bay-Gridden, 28th, I think he either led USHL or he was top 5 in scoring the USHL as a draft eligible. He was awesome. Andrew Basha, 41, one of my favorite players in this draft. Great name. Flashes of legit offense, so shifty, so good in transition. Was so fun to watch with Caden Lindstrom. I was kind of hoping after he didn't go in the first round that he might make it to Columbus and they would get to play together again. But it is what it is. But love that pick at 41. Battaglia at 62 is interesting. But I mean, Henry Muse at 74. So again, another guy that was projected to go super hot or super early in the first round. Didn't have the greatest year, but like was kind of pretty much just like solid all around for Ottawa and OHL this season. I knew he wasn't going to go first round. I thought he would probably go early second. The fact that he falls to 74 is crazy. Just a solid two-way right shot D, some offense in there. He's a solid defender. But the big one, Luke Misa at 150 is insane to me.
On the live stream, we were begging.
Yeah, I was really hoping to see him go to one of my teams. He did not. So I love that pick at 150. So the value you get with Luke Misa at 150, Henry Muse at 74, Andrew Bash at 41, and plus like the potential with Perek. I mean, hard for me to leave them off the winners list. So that's that.
Great winners list. And I got to ask you, Z, because this feels right in your wheelhouse. Have you ever had the Arnold Palmer spiked?
Oh, yeah. That's a great golf drink. It is
My brother is obsessed with them. He, like, his only request for his bachelor party was that I get, like, cases upon cases of that. And now I'm kind of into it. All right. So what's next then? Do we go all the way to the opposite side of the tracks and talk the worst ones? Or do you want to talk the almost made it?
I was going to say, I think I should just go with the not enough to get into the winners, but very close.
Okay. Then leave with the first thing I was going to say.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Not the one I thought you were going to say.
Interesting. All right. Carolina Hurricanes, as much as I do love their draft.
I get it.
I mean, they do the same shit every year. They trade back. They know the players that they like. And unlike a lot of other teams, instead of just fucking taking them, they just collect all these second, third, fourth, fifth round picks, and they use them on the players they've identified. They have I think there were probably 3 or 4 guys that I looked at before the draft started where I was like, that screams Carolina. That screams Carolina. And I think 3 of them ended up going to fucking Carolina. First one, they trade out of the first round and still get Dominic Badinka, right shot D-man, super mobile. He's big. He's super, super raw. But there's a legit player in there. He's already played some SHL and looked really fucking good in the SHL, like legit playing 15, 16, 17 minutes. I think he had like a 4 or 5 game stint where he was on their first pair playing 22 minutes, like legit, both ends of the ice. He's flashed some legit upside offensively, especially in transition. So love that pick at 34. He was put in a lot of first rounds. I had him just outside my first round. And the one guy that I screamed, doesn't matter where Carolina's picking, this is going to be a Carolina fucking Hurricane. Nikita Artemonov at 50th overall is outrageous and the most Carolina pick of all time. It happens every goddamn year.
I think you had him 25.
Yeah, I put him 25 on my list. I mean, again, he has played top 6 minutes in the KHL, produced in the KHL on a team that went to the semifinals. And like flashes of like game-breaking offense. So like I would say that it's not like all that likely that he's going to be a go-to guy in your first line, but like he is going to be like he has that in him, and he did that a ton for Torpedo this year. So him at 50 again, the most Carolina Hurricane pick of all time. And like when they traded out of the first round, people were like, oh no, I was like, trust me, no, he's not going first round. He'll go to Carolina where the fuck they pick in the second round, and it happened.
You're right.
I thought it was going to be 34. The next guy I also had penciled go to fucking Carolina. Noel Franzen at 69. Phenomenal pick. Love Noel Franzen.
Nice.
Defense is going to be, yeah, there you go. Someone had to do it. Defense is going to be a work in progress with him.
You talked about the thermostat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
That is the correct answer to thermostat setting. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Kevin Malone.
Yes. Noel Franzen, though, 6'1", left shot D-man, insane transition offense. The D is good in transition. In zone, going to be a long road before he gets there. Definitely more interested in the offensive side of things. But, like, again, just like Badinka, the transition game is solid. And, like, some of the goals that he scored this year, the J20, it was a joke. Like, he did, like, there was one, it was just in overtime, of course. I believe he actually scored the game-tying goal with, like, 10 seconds left in the same game. Like, first minute of overtime, strips someone in his own end, skates behind his own net, goes 200 foot, spinorama, goes shelf. And like, he just, every time he touches the puck, I love how much he wants to make a legit offensive play. And like, whether it's points or just doing something with it, he's a playmaker. He's very fun to watch. So I love that pick at 69. Alexander Suyatski, 124. Another guy that was projected probably.
He had to have been all name. Like, how? How could he not be?
It was towards the bottom of the list. So I just didn't get there. Oscar Vuillet, another one of my Swedes, undersized right wing. He is unbelievable. Ripped apart the J20 as a draft eligible and the year before as a draft -1. He even made it in some SHL games this year. He is undersized, yes, but he is absolutely unafraid to get involved in the shit. Net front, loves starting shit. Legit goal scorer, power play weapon, but also produces a 5v5. Useful defensively as well. Love him at 133. Justin Poirier, they got one of the best goal scorers in the draft at 156th overall. Ripped apart the QMJHL, I believe, broke a bunch of records there, was almost a goal per game. Timur Cole, another Russian who probably should have gone about 50 picks before 160. He ends up at 168. Same thing with Show Crit at 184. Same thing with Avramov 188. And same thing with fucking Krutov at 220. It is unbelievable every goddamn year. I probably should have put them in the winner list, but they didn't get like a guy that you're super well. So the thing is, when you look at all the guys that they have someone that you project to be like likely either top 4 like game breaker on defense or like a legit top 6 like likelihood.
Sure, but they literally got 3 guys outside of the first round that you had as first round picks. That's pretty good value.
One.
Well, you had Artemanov and Franzen, didn't you?
Franzen.
I thought Franzen was like right on the fringe of first.
I think I had him. No, Fry in my first round. Him, Salim Elenius, Badinka, like back to back to back. Like if I was going to do like a top 50.
Okay.
Somewhere in the late 40s, probably.
Fair enough. Okay, well, there's Carolina, which, that great draft, as always, by them. They're going to be taking over the Capitol soon. All right, next one.
This is a team I love, the Swings, New York Islanders. Cole Eisman at 20th. I was close to putting them in the winner category, but I think the teams that either had the same number of picks as them or lower or fewer, were like all game breakers. But anyways, Cole Eisman 20. I love at that point, it's a no-brainer. Best goal scorer in the draft, best shot in the draft, shattered every record at the program. 20th overall, absolutely. Like unfathomable 12 months ago. The Jesse Pulkkinen at 54, I love that bet. A lot of people were trying to figure out can I really put an overager in my first round? This is a 6'6" super mobile defenseman. He is mean, but he has legit offensive upside, crazy flashes of skill. Very fun at the blue line to just see a man that big, that mobile and fleet of foot, and just his ability to get around guys. So he's got some power play upside. So I love that at 54. Camille Bednarik, I love the gamble at 61. Love that pick.
I love talking about him. He looks like he is going to murder anyone that crosses his path. And I love that.
Yep. And again, just another guy that every once in a while flashes some legit upside, but can kind of just give you whatever you need when he jumps over the board. So love that.
Where's he playing?
You play the program. He's going. Oh God, where is he going?
Sorry.
BU, I believe.
Of course he
is. Yeah. So those 3, where they got them,
dude,
big supporters.
Is there a chance that he centers Yzerman? Or is that too tall of an order?
Chance. Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Makes up for his defense, that's for sure. So, the Gamzin, the Gidlof, and I really like the Xavier Villieu. I don't know how to say it.
AU.
I like the players where they got them felt right, so I didn't put them necessarily in the winner category. I was close, but I put them just outside. And I gotta speed this up a little bit, probably. Utah next up.
Okay.
I was conflicted because I love Iginla. 6th overall is probably fine. I mean, what he did in the WHL this year was just a joke. I would imagine he doesn't do much of the same. Next year, Cole Baudouin at 24. I feel like it was about right. It's still like a little high for me. I had him pegged for the Boston Bruins before he went literally one pick before, like the most Bruin of all time. Mm-hmm. Just like straightforward game. Yeah, he'll be an NHL guy, but does flash some legit offense. Skahan at 65 is interesting. He's a fucking massive defenseman. That he projects to play games. Weiston at 96, I love. Another guy that was projected to go first round 12 months ago. Year didn't go his way, got hurt at one point, but legit, he was playing in the Finnish Liga all year long. B. Bear at 98, really like that pick. And then Lafton, great name, Ludwig Lafton at 190.
No, better all name team pick, the one before that. Wojtek Roddick. Oh my God. I did not know this human existed, and I love the name.
Yeah. But I mean, they went out and got their guys that have the ridiculous size, and guys like Skahan and Thomas Lavoie, very similar physical presence. And then let me make sure I didn't miss one. Oh, same thing with Gabe Smith. So, yeah, I like the players. I love Iginla, obviously. They picked a couple guys that should be projected to play regular NHL games. So not enough to get in the winner category, but still like some of those players.
Okay. I'm getting nervous now. You still haven't said the team that I thought you were going to go with. So
I have 3 left.
I'm way off then.
Okay. Wait, where did my list go? Oh my God. Okay. St. Louis is next.
Interesting.
On my list here.
Okay.
Yarosek at 16. Bit of a gamble with the injury, but at the same time, you look at the offensive upside, the two-way ability, and like I think he at one point before the injury was viewed as a guy that was further in his development than his brother was at the same age. We've seen him play at a very high level before that injury, so it's all going to be how he bounces back. Colin Ralph at 48. Love it. Minnesota boy.
Well, I love how they label Shattuck St. Mary's though as Minnesota high school, because that's just not accurate.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It'll work. But Colin Ralph, I love that player, man. Like, he's so fun to watch. Just a big, super mobile, solid defender. And he does have that legit offense in there going to St. Cloud next year. That's going to be exciting. Lucas Fish at 56, I thought was interesting. I think he has a chance to be like a bottom roll there. And Andre Koch was really interesting to me. He's flashed some legit ability too. So I like that. Gamble at 81. Adam Jecko at 95. He was great in the WHL for a while this year. They have a Do You Know Who My Dad Is member, William McIsaac, 145. Big fan, obviously. And the Mercic pick is probably the one that they may have got the most value in there. Yeah. One of the best shots in the draft, super, super high in skating. I think he might rip apart CHL next year. So I put them, I was close to the winner list, but just missed.
Sure. Fair.
Seattle Kraken next up.
All right. He did it. He picked him.
I mean, Berkeley Catton.
Oh. GetYourWaggle.com, folks. Promo code SP10.
Phenomenal player.
I knew just because of Catton there'd be interest, but I also thought like throughout the draft, even on day 2, like you kept on making comments about Seattle. And I know like second pick, Julius Miettinen, but beyond that, maybe you can go further. But Berkeley Catton, number 3 on your big board. Why?
Yeah. I mean, what he's done in the WHL since he stepped in, the two-way ability, the absolutely insane like ability to pop offensively. Again, I think he scored 5 shorthanded goals this year as well. So I mean, you got a goal scorer, the playmaking, his play along the wall. Like, he just gives you literally everything, and he does it at a high level. So I love Berkeley Cat, and I think he's going to have a very, very successful NHL career. He never moved from third overall on my board. They get him at 8. Julius Miettinen is going to be a very, very interesting one. He can drive you nuts at times. Other times, he's going to win you the game. What he did in the WHL this year, they get him at 40. I felt like that for some. It depends who you ask, dude. Like, some people like, yeah, that's exactly where he should have gone. Then there's other people like, no, I had him first round. The size, the skill, and the shot. And then like my buddies and smart Scott were like, I no higher than 80. I was like, well, that seems aggressive, but all right. But like the rest of the guys have some super high floors. Like, I think there's a chance that almost all of these guys probably end up turning into full-time NHL players. Fibiger at 202, mind-boggling. Like, probably a top 100 guy, for sure.
Well, you talked a lot about Ollie Josephson, too. Like, is 105 for him a surprise?
No, probably about
right.
But, like, maybe not like eye-popping offense, but just like super hard-working, nonstop motor. I like that pick a lot. Same thing with Clark Caswell. Like that pick too. So like, nice. Every pick I liked. So I was close to putting it on the winners list. Probably should have if I could have done it again. Probably would have put them there, but whatever.
But see, hey, I really thought they were going to be in your winners list. Damn it.
Yeah. And then Nashville was the last one. I could have taken I could have put them anywhere. That like on any given day, I could put them anywhere. Like winner, loser, almost winner, almost loser.
They took a gopher.
They did. Yegor Sharon at 22. I think there was a lot of talk that he was going to go first round. Again, somehow this kid is legitimately everywhere on the ice. Like, he is nonstop. He flashed some ridiculous skill in the playoffs this year, the MHL. Again, it's the MHL, so you always have to take that with a grain of salt. But has a really solid two-way game and flashes of legit offense. How much of it's going to be projectable, we don't know. But Teddy Stiga at 55, one of my favorite picks. Love him. Miguel Marquez, depends who you ask. Some people would have put him mid-first. Other people would have put him probably, I guess, right where they took him. But he flashed some legit offense playing with Lethbridge, another shit team in the WHL. Very fun player, great name. And then one of my Swedes, Victor Noringer, he's fucking huge and flashes some crazy offense. They take him at 127. And I like the Eric Paulson pick at 213. So not enough. And like the Sharon pick is going to be a big gamble on that skill, translating the NHL. Feels like very much a Nashville pick too. Like, so wasn't super surprised that they were the team that ended up taking him in the first round, but for me, probably would have been more like a second. But I get why people like it.
There we go. There's the almosts.
All right.
So then, do we go with the bad or do we go with the almost bad?
Let's go back because I only have 3 almost bad.
Okay. Let's go bad. Who do we got?
I felt guilty putting them here because individually I like pretty much all the players they took, but the Philadelphia
just where
Flyers,
they took them. Yeah.
It was going to be hard to recover passing Z Buchum to go one pick back and take Jetlichenko.
We're rid of his agent.
Oh, God, I can't. Like, that's why I almost said, fuck it, let's put him in the winners. Yeah.
Cowards.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be a really solid NHL player, right in the middle 6. He's got some legit scoring upside, but just a tenacious, hard-working guy. I think he can play center at his size still. I think he's probably gonna be like right at middle 6. He's gonna give you secondary offense, plays both ends of the ice. I like the player a lot, not at 13. I think I put him like 20, so I guess it's not
right. And
crazy.
That became one of my favorite names quickly. So the fact that he went to Philly, that's a bummer.
Yep. And then second round, again, like too early for my liking, but I love Jack Berglund, Swedish. They took him at 51st. I probably would have felt more comfortable somewhere in the third round. But he is a huge two-way center, does flash some legit offense. He played a couple SHL games this year, very projectable. So I think he'll play games and probably be in the middle to a bottom 6 role. I do love the Heike Ruonen pick at 107. Just a solid two-way power forward. when he chooses to, he flashes some legit offense. He's got the skill, but I plays a very projectable game. It's the right size, like the skating ability. So I like that pick at 107 a lot. I think on our list at Smart Scat we had him like right around 90 something. So I really like that pick.
You don't like the Ilya Pautov pick.
What's that?
Ilya Pautov. He's a guy that you had in your like top 10 Russian players, and to get him at 173.
Yep. Again, projectable game. Might not like flash a ton of offense, but pretty reliable player. I like the swing on the upside though with Spencer Gill as well. Big
relation?
No.
Disappointing.
That would have been funny though. But I think that's a big swing on upside there. Like creates good offense. The skating's got to take several strides forward to make it to the NHL and be an impact player. But like you like the upside there with the how skilled he is, offense creation, and just like at his size. So they made the loser list. It's going to always be hard to recover, like just passing on Z Bouillon to move one pick back and then take Jet Luchenko. Poor Jet Luchenko also is now just going to be scrutinized forever unfairly. Like he didn't do this. Like he's a solid player. He's going to be a good player. Like I think, like because this is exactly what I said too. He's a guy that like wherever he's going to go, he's going to be a fan favorite. It's like never mind. This is the one situation where they might just like fucking. And of course, it's Philadelphia. Like so, it's going to be like they're driving forever. So
it's the tweet. It's Jet Luchenko, Charlie Stramel, handshake emoji.
Yeah. Next up, Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they didn't pick till 118. You're always going to end up in the lose list at that point. Realistically, they took two kids that I really like. Jonas Saarelainen, Finnish kid, very crafty offensive player, absolute sniper. He's legit, like him a lot. Noah Steen's an overager at 199. I thought he should have got drafted last year. Played in the Allsvenskan this year. Played a lot on the same line with Bronseg Nygård has for a couple of years. He's also a Norwegian, so there you go. Let me see. I don't know how the fuck
didn't pick till the 4th. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, not much more to say, to be honest with you. I mean,
Hagen Burrows, baby.
Overager, Madigan, the goalie, has been one of the better goalies in the CHL for a while. They took him at 206, so I don't know. They should get a couple.
Taking an overager goalie almost like the opposite of taking an overager at other positions. Like that's almost better.
So actually, in that case, we should just go to another team I had in the loser list, Colorado Avalanche.
Sure.
Their first pick in the second round. Where'd it go? There it is. Ilya Nabokov, 38th overall. It's a big swing, but he's probably...
Where should he have gone?
Third round, maybe. But, like, I think in terms of, like, overagers, like, this is what I was going to talk about. Like, goaltending feels like the right position where it's like, yeah, maybe it's better to take the overager goalies because it does take them forever to get drafted anyways. But I'm assuming they took him as like thinking that's going to be their guy for the future. Like he's legit. I like him a lot. But other than that, again, like Zellers at 76 felt like a reach. Fisher at 121 felt like a reach. Pittner at 185 was interesting. Christian Humphreys at 215 is interesting. But I mean, I just think with some of the guys that somehow fell, they passed up a ton of value. So I didn't really love their draft. Realistically, the one that I probably would like the most is Pittner. Torrey Pittner at 185. Like super smart. Just like one of the smartest players probably in the draft. Again, he's going to be able to affect like a game anywhere in the lineup. Like him a lot. So the fact they got him at 185 was the one I was like, that's a really solid pick.
I mean, Sellers did play for Shattuck High School, so
you're right. They win. Actually, let me move it.
So I thought. All right. Any other losers?
Toronto Maple Leafs made the loser list. So there you go. Let's make it about Toronto.
The Maple Leafs.
The only pick that I was like, yep, that's nice, is Ben Danford at 31st overall. Right shot defenseman. Super versatile defender. like the exact right shot defenseman that they probably should have been targeting before. They traded back and decided not to take Stian Solberg, who like the fan base wanted. Everyone thought was going to be the guy that was going to go for them. They decided to not do that. Other than that, I didn't like any of the picks. I didn't love anything. Like, I had nothing really to say about literally any of the other guys. Like,
were there any in particular that you like, not the player, but where you were like, why the hell did you take this player here?
Yeah, like Miroslav Holinka at 151. Like, he just has really nice hands. But like when you watch him play, it's like, yeah, he's probably gonna be like really solid, like either playing junior or just he's gonna go play in Europe. Like,
sure,
he's gonna make it work there. It's just like the NHL. Now that I said it though, with my track record, he's gonna be the best player in the league. But yeah, I like the Danford pick. And other than that, nothing. Like, they added Snot at the end of with the last couple picks. Like, that's what they did. Washington, I thought they reached pretty much almost every pick.
I figured this one was coming.
Yeah.
Again, but it is kind of the same deal that you talked about earlier, right? Like, you like a lot of the players, just not where they were taken.
Mm-hmm. The one that I really liked though was Leon Mugli at 52. Okay. Already played pro hockey, super projectable game, two-way defenseman, like solid defender. And he flashes some legit offensive upside, so I like that pick. Other than that, they literally like. I mean, I could have put them in the winner category just for taking Miroslav Shatan Jr. at 212. Yeah, that's fun. But other than that, they reached a ton. But yeah, and I mean they get Cole Hudson at 43. It's fine.
Too early. But how big should the fruit basket be that Tarek Parashak sends over to Riley Heidt?
Yeah. I don't know. I go back and forth because like that's the big thing that everyone says, but like he doesn't get enough credit then for going from like Canadian prep hockey or like literal high school hockey to ripping apart the WHL.
I mean, isn't that what you're hoping that your boy's gonna do for Boston?
Yeah, he's going to fucking BC. We'll find out. I'm hoping. They're also very different players. But yeah, I don't know. But I like the Mugli pick a lot. And that pretty much does it for the losers. The three that I have that I don't like, but not enough to put in the loser category. Number one, Ottawa Senators. They've got a type, that's for sure.
Yakimchuk
at 7. Again, like you can absolutely understand why NHL teams love everything about Yakimchuk, the size, the fact that he's a right shot, the offensive ability that he showed the WHL. I mean, he scored fucking 30 goals this year as a defenseman, and he is super physical, super mean. Big time questions about the hockey sense. Big time questions about just like the overall like breaking out of his own zone, decision making. That's gonna be probably a bit of a project, but like when you move as well as he does at his size, and he flashes that offense, like you understand why teams like that a lot.
Hang on, the highlight of the draft for me with that one, they throw up the graphic for defensemen that have put up 30 goals in their draft year. And they're like, this just does not come around. You understand why what made the jump here. And then they like lightly say under their breath, like, oh yeah, and a guy that's still on the board, Zane Parekh, also did that.
Yeah.
Good.
One of the most, again, totally understand why NHL teams would love this kid. 39th overall is wild. Big Gabriel Eliasson, 6'7", left shot D-man. I think he does at least like break the puck out well enough, and he can like, I mean, he can play. But you took the meanest player in the draft. Like every single time he steps on the ice, his number one goal is to absolutely crush somebody. Again, I probably would have been more comfortable like 3rd, 4th round. They decided on 39th overall. Again, they clearly have a type. But I mean, hey, he's a kid that plays for Team Sweden in every international tournament at the junior level. He's always there. He plays on their bottom pair. He kills penalties. Super fucking physical, super mean. But 39th overall is wild. But I absolutely love the Blake Montgomery pick. That's a fantastic, super high upside winger. Yes, I do. Next question. And I like the swing with Lucas Elenas. I think that's another guy that could potentially have a nice little breakout year next year. So I like the value that they get, especially with the Montgomery. I get the Yakimchuk pick higher than I would have put him there. So like a bunch of other guys that like, sure, but maybe not where you took him, other than Blake Montgomery.
We got to talk about the two that you didn't mention, though. Javon Moore, going to be a Gopher. Say something nice.
Oh, God. Similar to Montgomery profile, big swing on the high, like playmaking wing with legit upside. So I like that pick as well. Sorry. Meant to include him in that.
And how did their 5th round pick, Eric Wallenius, not get discussed ever, with it being not Saulene Wallenius, but also Eric with 2 E's, Eerik.
Yeah, Eric.
Eric Wallenius, no Saulene. Hold the Saulene.
Yeah, hold a little less. Yeah. Next up, Edmonton. Really like Sam O'Reilly, 31. You could look at it either like just right. I think I put him 32. So there you go. Love the player though, and he was awesome for London. I think he just like finally decided that even though he wasn't necessarily utilized as like a go-to guy for like offense, he kind of just like broke out the end of the year, had a really strong playoff for them. Again, he's going to just impact your lineup wherever you put him. So I like him a lot. Other than that, there's just a lot of hope there, but like, and again, a bunch of solid players like Albin Sundin. I like him a lot. 183, probably about where he should have gone. So like, I didn't really have anything bad to say about their draft. It's just like where they were picking, they kind of just made fine picks, but nothing that's really like headline grabbing.
They took son of Bradbury and Bowerberry in the 7th round.
True.
He's not even good enough to play for his dad though. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
And then just because we are already at fucking 134, Detroit Red Wings made mine close to losing. Again, they got my favorite player of the draft, so automatically that's great. Bronsek Nygaard, but pretty much they followed it up with some like big swings, but we'll see type picks like Max Plant. That's a swing at 47.
Minnesota. Yeah, that was really early.
Just a swing at 47. Same thing with Andre Becker, 80. Whipple at 144. I like a lot. And other than that, I mean, like Charlie Forsland's another sweet, interesting swing. So
Z, I guess it's going to be a yes or no. Do you believe in the Yzer plan?
No, I've said this before. I think for 2 years.
It's so bad.
I don't know if they're up there.
They're not going to make the playoffs this year. There's no way.
No. Nope, they're not. So, but yeah, that does it for the lists.
They have 2 of the best goalie prospects, and they have 4 NHL goalies right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
All right. I'm just gonna rifle through some of my favorite picks. Andrew Basha, Calgary, 41st. Henry Muse to Calgary at 74th. Luke Misa to Calgary at 150. Artemonov at 50 for Carolina. Noel Franzen, 69 to Carolina. Oscar Roulette, 133 to Carolina. Simon Zether, 129, one of my boys. 129 to Florida. Teddy Stiga, 55th overall to Nashville. Now to be your boy, Max Swanson, 207 to Pittsburgh. And Igor Chernyshov at 33 to the San Jose Sharks.
Maybe you just want to avoid bias, but how does Aaron Kiviharu in the 4th round not come up?
Well, I said I wasn't talking about Minnesota yet.
But you said your favorite picks of the draft.
Yes. Okay. News.
Wild pick. Every single wild pick is your favorite?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Move on.
That does that.
Sick.
I mean, at this point, we're already at 140, and we don't really have time to do the Wild deep dive.
Anyone that wants to know about the Wild, go listen to Fellowship of the Rink, episode 20, featuring Spoked Z, giving the whole Minnesota Wild draft rundown.
I thought about it after. I was like, wait, we already did that, and this is going to take me way longer than I wanted to. I started thinking that probably like 10 minutes into this thing. I was like, uh-oh. Fuck. That's going to be a 3 hour if we actually want to do the whole thing. Should have just talked about Ryan Suter the whole fucking time.
Honestly, that would have been really fun, but I would have gotten bored at like an hour 45.
I had 15 minutes. How long are we? My favorite memory of Dallas star Ryan Suter.
Everyone that wants to hear Z's thoughts on the Minnesota Wild's draft, I just dropped the link into the comments. Go listen.
Hear it. You know what I will do? The one that I'm going to be... I always pick one every year of the draft class that I'm going to like pay particular attention to, because basically it's like totally understand taking the player with that profile. Didn't have a good year at all. It was Sebastian Sawinni.
Okay.
Super, super mobile, right shot D-man. Played a ton of pro hockey this year. Probably shouldn't have played pro hockey. Probably should have been playing in the U20s in Finland. There's no question about the just like raw athletic tools. The big, big thing that always comes up with him whenever you talk to anyone that's just tracked like these like players out of Finland for the last couple of years is just like the decision making and the overall awareness, which is very interesting for a Judd bracket draft. Like historically, he really goes out of his way to target like super high hockey IQ type guys. So Sawinni's gonna be one that I'll be watching in particular this year, just given the profile player, the fact that he's a right shot defenseman in this fucking prospect pool that is just like there's like 4. I absolutely do not agree that Lethal might agree this might be the single worst draft in Wild history. A bunch of guys who aren't very good and Bouillon who doesn't particularly fill a need. That's just that doesn't feel like a genuine or you like being mad. I don't know. That's fine.
Being mad.
Oh, he also just said I went down the YouTube rabbit hole and Kivi Harju is very unimpressive. There you go. You've seen all you needed to see.
That's how you scout, right? You just look at YouTube.
Yeah, obviously. Well, kinda. I have to. I'm not in Finland.
An important one here from Tom Alaya, which I have already been very outspoken about. If Dean gets the job in Columbus, Uncle Freddie, which it's actually son Freddie Evison, will give us another spot for height. Hire Dean. I support it. I also think Dean coaching Columbus would be very enjoyable.
Hell yeah. It's nice. I like it. Big fan.
Who will his assistant coach be that he physically assaults when they win?
Darby. Let's just get Darby back to just get the gang back together.
Darby already found a job, man.
Fuck, you're right. I forgot about that. Damn it. Congrats to Darby. Absolute beauty of a human. Fantastic.
Congrats to his son playing for the Gophers this year. And I know he follows all of our accounts. I don't know if he listens to the show or not, but Beckett, Hendrickson, going to be a Gopher, then a Bruin.
I made it. I was able to go to one day of Bruins dev camp the last day because we weren't working on the 4th.
Yeah.
He was nasty. Beckett. Some of the fucking plays he was making and the small-sided games. My God. It was very enjoyable for me to watch. So I think he's going to do very well in Minnesota.
Lethal, I'm with you on this one. Make Rick Nash the assistant coach. He's thick. He can take a hit from Dean.
Fair enough.
Support it.
there's no fucking way that the guys that are like, they get hired as like player development guys, they're like, this is the best. I'm not fucking coach. Fuck off. Like, how am I gonna get fired? I can't. Like, unless you're just like boosting the kids up. Like, that's the only way you can fuck that up.
Well, in Canada,
it's like being an asshole. Like, the player dev guys are everyone that I've ever listened to, like ex-NHL guys that like the first role they get is like player development. They're like, it's the fucking best. this is the best job in the fucking world.
Oh, it's great too, because Joe Smith's like, oh yeah, I can tell like the Wild that we're just like down the road, like recording the episode. If like we can get an interview set up, I'm like, I don't think they're gonna let 17 and 18-year-olds come down to a brewery, but I'll do it. Right. I'll do it.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm in.
Count me in. Hire me.
Right away, he's like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else we want to touch on? One of my first projects that I've been working on, by the way, is like, I just started it too. Is I'm about to watch an insane amount of Sebastian Sawicki shifts. Nice. I've already logged about 450 minutes of ice time. I'm like, I put the blue light glasses on. But one thing that I do want to do soon, because I also started this project, we're going to start getting into 2025 because there are some fun players coming up and like legit challenges for top 5. And a couple guys that are challenging for one. Porter Martone might be one of the most electrifying wingers I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
So there you go. Very excited for 2025 draft. I always am at the start of any draft year. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Off the cuff. Wait, I'm pretty sure he's 2025. Maybe you're going to tell me that he's 2026. Give me a range right now, today, for LJ Mooney.
I knew you were going to ask for about, I don't know how. I was like, he's going to ask LJ Mooney.
Yeah, I have to.
I could see him anywhere from like 25.
Yeah. 25, okay.
To 45.
And that's currently, what's the highest he can climb? Like, what's the earliest he can go if he just like goes off this year? Like 15?
Yeah, if that feels rich.
Yeah. Just purely because of his size, or like what are the other drawbacks?
Well, here you go. So one of my like, I guess, buddy, like we just like follow each other and interact sometimes, like in the prospect world. I got an unsolicited DM from him like 4 months ago, and it was like a clip of LJ Mooney legitimately like doing like 3 solo laps with the puck in the offensive zone, leaving the zone, then going back in, doing it again, and then going backhand shelf. And the kid just goes, imagine if someone told him that there are other players on the ice who are on his fucking team. I was like, I mean, it worked. Like, I don't know.
I was going to say, if he didn't score, you'd have a better argument.
The score was already 11-0. So like, it was like, whoops.
Blur that part out.
Flyer Voracek, Roger McQueen, greatest all-name team candidate. I think right now I have him 4th.
We're calling him Lightning.
Maybe 5th. 4th or 5th. He is insane. So, there you go.
Please tell me he's fast.
Roger McQueen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty quick.
Lightning McQueen, here we go.
The puck sticks to him. I don't know how he keeps it. It's one of the guys. It's just I don't know how he does it, but yeah, 2025. Very excited. I've already started. Thank God there are a bunch of Swedes that are gonna go early. That's helping me a lot. But yeah. Anything else? I don't know.
I don't think so. Because you won't talk about Trouba, you won't talk about the PWHL. Do you think
the commentary from Rangers fans around Trouba is insane?
I hang on though. Can we like get on the same page here? Does he have a full no move clause? Does he have that?
I thought he does.
No, I thought that it expired and he has like a 15 team no trade list. If he has a full no move, then I take everything back. But if he has a 15 team no trade list and he says, I refuse to show up to camp for any team that trades for me, I think that's fucking bullshit. And I think that's loser shit. I don't care what his wife is doing. Like, I respect him using his contractually negotiated protection to pick teams strategically that he thinks they'd trade him to. That's fine. But to say, oh, but if you trade me to a team that's not on my list, I'm just not going to go. That's loser shit.
Oh, 15 team.
Yeah, fucking loser. But it's funny because I'm torn. I'm torn because I think it's such a loser move, but he's doing it to hurt the Rangers, so I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I hate more than what Trouba's doing is the Rangers. So, like, stick it to him. I love it. I love it.
So Puckpedia has, like, when you pull a player profile, it's got, like, the contract stuff on the left. And on the right, it says, like, updates. And it's, like, not just, like, well, actually, it has nothing to do with, like, contractual stuff. The last update, May 26th, so game 3.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I would be dead. Trouba logged 2 assists, 9 blocked shots, 6 penalty minutes, and 3 hits in Sunday's 5-4 overtime win versus Florida in game 3. I don't remember that. Imagine, I mean, I'd be dead. 9 shots. I mean, 3 hits after blocking 9 shots is already, that's just.
You don't know what order it happened.
No, I know, but in my head, that's the way it was typed.
It's in the order that I read.
I don't care. I don't care.
So, like, all seriousness, though, because, like, remove the situation. Like, let's say it's a Boston Bruins player who you like but needs to be moved. Like, he's not a bad player. Trouba's not a bad player. His contract's a touch rich, and New York's got to shift money around, especially because they need to make changes if they want to actually push for a cup. Like, if this is on the Bruins, like, how would you feel about a player saying, even if you trade me to a team that's not on my no trade list, I'm just not going to go?
I go, challenge accepted. All right.
It's like, fine, dude.
What if they're like, all right.
I'll just wave you and you're going to end up in San Jose with Barclay Goodrow. Have fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's always ways.
I just feel like that's like, I just think that's
in 2024, in the age of the internet, where any clip is forever. I strongly support this. You know, so, I don't want to fucking
come at me.
I don't want to get
the fact that all of the writers are coming out and the media people are like, he is just using the contract he negotiated. He got those rights for a reason. He doesn't have those rights. He does not have a full no move. He does not have the right to block out every team in the league. Stop saying that. I'm more mad at them than I am at Trouba at this point. Like, people are like, he's doing the right thing. He's supporting his wife, which, like, I support that. That's fine that he wants to stay with his wife. But to go as far as to say, like, yeah, I'm just not going to show up, so good luck trading me. Like,
well, I mean, I also don't. I also know for a fact that's like, it's not like he's the first player that's ever done that. In 2024, everything gets fucking thrown out there.
Sure.
So, like, you find out with everything.
It's the fact that it's thrown out there publicly and the teams know. Like, if he says that to the Rangers, that's one thing. Right. But if he like goes other, if he basically puts out,
who's
like,
his fucking agent? Is his agent Overhart? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The agent's probably like, he says the whole thing.
So, like, I support him supporting his wife. I support that he doesn't want to leave. But if he doesn't have the full move full no move that everyone online is saying that he has, then he has to go where he gets traded. He signed the fucking contract, just like they all want to promote. Oh, he negotiated the contract he has, so he has the rights. Well, no, he doesn't have the right to block out 16 of the teams. So shut the fuck up. Yeah,
I do think it's the commentary around it is very much like, oh, we can't really say this anymore. People yell at us on Twitter.
I just did because I don't care. Like, I'm over it.
Again, it's also like, I don't believe you. Like, I think you're gonna show up to camp if we fucking like. Obviously now they're getting nothing.
That a team's not going to trade for him.
No, I know that. Obviously,
that's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing the thing where it's just like, I don't want to fucking leave, so I will absolutely make myself untradeable.
And I respect him not wanting to leave, but I think it's Bush League the way that he is making this work.
Yeah, I mean, again, I still think a lot of it has to do with the fact that anything now is going to come out. The fact that he's the captain of the New York fucking Rangers, everything gets amplified tenfold. How
do you bring him back as your captain when you're like, yeah, we want to get him the fuck out of here?
Right. So then it's like, okay, that's something the team has in their pocket. Like, great, fuck you. Like, we're gonna see. Oh my god, the fucking Puckpedia just started playing an ad and scared the shit out of me. That was so scary. But no. So then when you look at the team, it's like, all right, well then Rangers can also do what they want as far as great, C's gone. You're gonna be playing third pair, scrap, whatever. Now they can do that, and people can get mad. How long would it take for the first article to come out?
AHL.
Well, the first article would be New York Rangers hates players' wives.
No, then they'll turn it into his kid.
Yeah.
New York Rangers support abortion and wanted Trouba to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ, people.
Whoa.
Hang on. Is there a world, though, where he could be traded to the Islanders and then he can't play that bullshit card?
He should demand a trade to the Islanders only.
But he has facial hair.
And then he should run around and decapitate everybody on the Rangers. Imagine he goes to the Islanders or the Devils, and he just goes he's on his absolute worst behavior every time. He plays the villain card in the Garden. That could be very fun. I think I might go down that route.
Imagine the Buffalo Wild Wings sponsorship.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Get him there.
Buffalo would actually be very fun. He is actually what they need.
Kinda.
They've got the skill on the blue line. They just aside from Darlene, who is an undercover assassin, they don't really have the sandpaper.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah.
On their blue line. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird one. I hate that that's what this it sucks that nowadays with the nature of just honestly, it's kind of like sports journalism just in general. That this is what this commentary is turned into. It's all right, so now we have decided to abandon talking about hockey.
I mean, it is that time of year. It's perfect.
At all. None of nothing that no criticism that you want to level at anybody here has anything to do with hockey anymore. Are you winning the Twitter I am a nice person war? I don't know.
We do realize that Kyle Granlund got traded the day his wife was giving birth.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jake Trouba.
That's a tough one.
That one I support. I'm that seems a little cold. Maybe that shouldn't have been played out that way. But sorry, your wife's finishing her residency and you've got a kid. I guess you got to choose between careers. You can't just get what you want. I don't know. It's fun though because it's the Rangers getting screwed. So I'm all about it.
It's a good time for me. Oh! Nope. Maybe back. I think I'm back.
I think it was me.
Really?
I don't know. We'll see. It was definitely one of us.
It's possible. Something magical just happened. I really do hate this though. I think this is honestly why I stopped. Am I gone again?
No, you're here.
Okay, cool. I think this exact type of scenario and just the commentary around it is one of the subconsciously is why I just stopped paying attention as much to what was going on. When we do the show now and you're what'd you think about this? I'm I am just now learning about this. I don't know anything. I just like stopped looking because I was like, this is annoying. This is annoying. This is annoying. This is annoying.
Unless
for whatever reason, this guy's a piece of shit.
Unless it's a Brad Marchand clapback, he doesn't see it.
Yeah. I love that he's just like, he'll clap back at people. Like he calls people poor in Instagram comments and everyone's like, yeah, it's just Marshy.
I got commas, you pigeon.
I got plenty of commas. Pigeon is unbelievable. And then like your Stanley Cup trophy is won in your driveway is unbelievable.
Yeah. That's a pretty good
one. The guy just goes, God damn it. It's like funnier response. That was actually pretty good. That's all you can say.
That was pretty good. Oh,
unreal. Anyways, 2 hours. There you go. We did it again.
Did it. Did the thing. And then call your shot. Say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye to the people. And see you next week, probably.
Probably.
Like,
maybe. We think so. Yeah. Possibly.
Well, 2025 preview might be a good time.
2025 preview next week. Tune in.
Boom.